guys. Sorry for the like 1 minute delay there. My camera refused to connect to my computer, so I was having a panic moment there. Welcome to the Writing Compelling Fiction Writing Sprints, and I'm so happy that you're here and you have joined me. If this is your first time watching, what we do is 10-minute sprints of writing, and then in between we answer questions or talk about what we're working on. Usually I put up a writing prompt. I didn't have time to write one today, but I think we can maybe do some sentences at the end. So what we did last week was we went over some sentences and rewrote them. I'm hoping that this week goes a little bit smoother if anybody wants to do that. We can also kind of vary it up and do plot discussions or character discussions or whatever you guys happen to want to work on. Because it's a really great opportunity to have a Q&A and get some of what the masterminds get for the hour and a half that they do their workshops. So you can do it in these little sprints that we have. If you are watching the replay, you can go ahead and log and write with us. I turn on a little music and we write, and then the timer goes off and then we come back. And the whole concept behind the sprints is that they're a lot like what you did in track. And they're just kind of fast moving. You don't think about it. It just goes by before you know it. We usually start with 2 15-minute sprints and then seeing how much time we have left based on how much I talk. We usually either do a couple more 10-minute or another 15 or whatever we have left for the day. And this runs about an hour with the bonus stuff at the end. So I welcome you. And if you're not already a subscriber to the channel, I encourage you to click that button. And if you are, thank you very much, because I'm really grateful for every single one of you. It's awesome because I've noticed that half of my audience is outside of the United States. I think it's 49% is outside of the United States. And I know I have a whole bunch of outside of the United States people here in my writing sprints, which is really, really cool. Nice to see all these jump starters here. Gayla and Cheryl and Wendy and Robert and Heather. You guys, it's so great to see you. And Shirley, best first name ever, right? And Jean and Silver Ali. It's good to see everybody. It's kind of like walking into a room where I know everybody already because you guys have been coming for so long, and I totally appreciate it. I am doing that Write a Book with Me in 2024 thing because my goal is to finish this book that I'm working on. I did not write a book this week. I did do, though, some handwriting at night because I had some ideas, and I don't think I wrote a whole lot there, but I've got a couple pages of stuff to put in there. Because sometimes that works better for me, is to sort of do something outside of that. So in the comment section, feel free to drop in what you're working on or what your biggest challenge is today. And then we can talk about that after our first sprint, because we're going to get right to work, which is the fun part. I'm going to put my timer together. I'm not even sure what it's set at because it's been a little while. It's been about a week. And let's do 15-minute sprint. And like I said, I'll play some music and then we'll come back. And I'd love to talk about what you're working on. So please tell me whatever problem you're having with your manuscript or what the biggest challenge has been with your writing this week. And we can talk about it because a group of writers all together, I think there should be a special name for that and the support system that they can create. So I'll see you in 15 minutes. Okay, that was pretty quick there. I did like 550 words, but that's because I had like 250 already written here, and all I had to do is transcribe them. And I type pretty fast, even though I, honest to God, could not really read my writing. There's like a section here that I'm like, I have no idea what I wrote, so I just made it up. So I hope, excuse me, I hope you guys all had a great writing session there for your 15 minutes and you got a whole lot done. Let me know what you're working on and if you're having any problems with your writing. And even if you're watching this on the replay, feel free to drop something in the comments because I can still see them after the live stream runs. And every once in a while, I remember to load these as videos again, so they're not just under the live stream tab. But I can still see them and I can answer your questions after the fact, even if you're not here in these. Because I know a lot of people like they have jobs, they have lives, they have other things that take precedence over a writing sprint in the afternoon on a Friday. So yeah, that's just drop the questions whenever you want. And great job, Silver Ollie, doing editing for your editor. That's good. I have so much editing to do because I am an editor on client stuff, and I'm playing hooky and working on my book instead. Wendy, great job, 177 words, and I'm glad Cheryl's doing well with the revisions. And Real Life, Real Talk with Jean. Jean, let me know what kind of wall you've hit, like if you're struggling with your character, with your plot. I find if it's fiction, 99.99% of the time, it is a plot problem. And not necessarily an external plot problem, probably an internal plot problem. Before I forget, I want to put the link into the latest video on the channel, which is about creating strong male characters, which when I made the video, that was the #1 voted next video in the poll that I put on the community tab. So, in character and plot, Gene. Yes, because they kind of go hand in hand. So there is a masterclass on the channel if you haven't already watched that, and a bunch of videos about plot. I'm very much of the opinion that characters cause their own problems. So one of the things that I talk about in the character videos and that is in the character master plan, that's free on my community, by the way, which I'll drop a link in a second, is that characters have weaknesses and strengths that stem from their pasts, from their history, from the things that they have gone through. Like if somebody was abandoned on the side of the road as a child, it makes them very afraid of abandonment. Maybe they become really clingy, or maybe they become the opposite, very emotionally distant. And so those weaknesses that the character has creates the problems in each of the scenes. So let's say you have a really emotionally distant character who has to get close to somebody in order to get some information. And instead of doing that, they just make it worse by being distant and cold and all of that, and it backfires. And so things get worse in the plot. And those are things where the character causes their own problems by their weaknesses, and then their strengths fix it at the end. And yes, thank you for sharing about the fiction. And I think that that's one of the keys that a lot of people sometimes don't see, is that the character's weaknesses are causing their problems. So if your plot's not strong enough and you don't have enough going on to create an entire book, because that could also be the problem, then you've really got to kind of look back at your overall plot and say, is this a big enough goal? I talked in one of the videos about how getting on the varsity basketball team might not be a big enough goal. Somebody argued with me in the comments about it. But if really all the kid wants to do is get on the varsity basketball team in school, there's not a lot of steps to that, right? Like you practice and you show up at the tryouts, and then you get picked or you don't pick. Now, if you make that even bigger, and let's say that the character wants to get on the varsity basketball team because this was his father just died and this was his father's favorite sport, and he's doing it because his father loved it, and he has no idea how to play basketball, so he has this huge learning curve and a lot of steps to take to get to the varsity basketball team, that becomes a bigger goal that you can do for an entire book. So it has to be big enough to have a lot of steps involved. And then as the character goes along in their steps, they need to mess things up based on their weaknesses and their fears and insecurities and anxieties, just like we all do, right? Like we self-sabotage diets. And I just did. You just see the pile of chocolate I have right here because I was kind of feeling tired. And so I was like, I got to have a Reese's. I haven't eaten my Reese's yet. I may do that on one of these little sprint breaks. And thank you, Half a Mo. Great job on the 156 words. And wait, we'll back up. Jean, if that didn't answer your question, please drop more information and I will be happy to help you with that. And I'm glad that my video helped you figure out your main character's deepest fear, because I love those, right? Like when you have their deepest fears, you know what to make them face, because that's the thing that they have to conquer. Um, yes, and journaling is a great way to become a writer, because when you're journaling, you get in touch with your own feelings deep down. I do think that one of the things that I struggled with a lot, that I had a hard time with, and why it took me so long to sell my first book, was I had a really hard time getting deep down with my characters' feelings. I think that it was just hard in general. I had, needed some therapy and all of that. Had been through a whole lot, but I think that once I learned how to really tune into my own gut feelings, I could easily translate that into the characters. Because what you're looking for is that commonality that we all have between the characters and ourselves. Even if your character is, let's say, Will Smith in Independence Day. Like, I don't have a whole lot in common with Will Smith, but I can relate to that overpowering need to protect my family. I can relate to that sacrificial act for his family. I can relate to the anger at somebody that has hurt him and hurt his family and other people that he cares about. So when you take a character like that and you break it down into what are the commonalities that we have with everybody else, that's where you build that bridge with the reader. And yes, I'm glad, Hefamo, that this is what you're finding to make him face. And I agree that it feels like a wall sometimes. I've been having that problem with the book that I'm working on. I think partly because I'm not devoting time every day to it. I think that's a big consideration. And so that's why I'm doing so much of this by hand instead, because it just lets me think other ways. Okay, guys, great job. So think about what I just said. And as you're working on your next 15-minute sprint, if anything else comes up, let me know, because I'm happy to work with you guys on that. So 15 more minutes. Let's go. got so involved in the story, I almost forgot to come back here. Thank goodness for the timer reminding me. Um, and yes, Wendy, I'm hoping that what you've got going with this plot is going to make a big difference in it. I'm really excited to see what you do with it. And Shirley, a prequel for your previous series. Oh, right after the Battle of Waterloo. Yes, that sounds really cool. I've been dying to watch the Napoleon movie with Joaquin Phoenix on, I think it's on Apple or something. I haven't had a chance yet, but I think that would be really cool. I love historicals. And Gayla has a new idea for her opening. I love that. I think that's great. Is this for the meet cute that you have between the hero and heroine, the moment where they meet? I think that would be really cool. An update, by the way, on the workbook for Writing Compelling Fiction, the book, which I don't think, yeah, you guys can see it. Writing Compelling Fiction, the book, and the romance class. I'm still working on those. I got swamped with work, and I have a trip coming up in February. So I'm going to do my best to get this out. I have to record all the videos and then edit them. And it's like, why did I take this on? But the workbook is like 70% done. So I'm pretty excited about it. It's going to have more stuff than the handouts do, more questions, and kind of tie it all together a little bit more than what I can do in individual handouts. Great job, Wendy, on your 179 words. And I'm so glad you managed to fix the poem, Silver Ollie, because sometimes that's the hardest part. Like the little things, the really short things can trip me up a lot more than writing a whole novel, because it's kind of like knitting a whole blanket. You can drop a few more stitches when you do that than when you knit like a little baby booty, because the smaller the thing, the more perfect it has to be. My daughter is a musician and she writes her own lyrics. And every once in a while, not very often, but every once in a while, she comes to me with the lyrics just to help her tighten them. And she's really great at imagery. She should be a fiction writer, but her first love is music, and so that's what she does. Great job, Jean, on the 190 words. I'm hoping that kind of helped you not be so stuck. There's a couple exercises in the male character video that are there for you to kind of sort of pump up your book and pump up your male characters. I'm also going to record, probably for next week, character exercises, because I did see that as like the second most. Now it's currently, because other people have voted, the top wanted video in the poll. So I'll post the poll in here so that if you guys have something else you want to see, I'm always happy to kind of answer the need that's in the group. Let me grab that poll real quick. Oh, I don't actually know how to do that. I think I just said you just have to go to the community page. It's the second one down. There you go. Yeah, if I could hit enter, then that would be better. All right, so I'm so excited that you have those 190 words, and I'm really excited for all of you. I think, too, that sometimes one of the great exercises that you can do is to just have your character open a door or open a box. I've done that like 1,000 times. I did it in probably my 8th book. I think I was stuck, totally stuck. I had no idea where I was going to go with the plot. And I had the character open a box that was in the closet, and I just ran with it. I was sitting like at my kid's music lesson or something, and I was on my Alpha Smart, and I just wrote whatever came to mind and let it just take shape, and didn't worry about the plot, didn't worry about the character, didn't worry about anything. And it became something that actually kind of meant a lot to me, because she found something that related back to her mother, and my mother has passed. And it was something that kind of stemmed a little bit from my real life. So it was really cool. If you guys have read that book, The Devil Served Desire, there's some information about that moment in the like in the dedication or the Dear Reader, whatever part that I have that in. Great job, Robert, on the 244 words. And on a 60 meter screen. I love that. That's got to be a ginormous screen, like a drive-in theater, half a mo. And Jean, yes, we all can go off on a tangent. It's really easy. The biggest thing you want to remember with a scene is that the best ending for a scene is failure. So whatever the character goes into that scene wanting, it's really great if they can get it or not get it, but either way have some kind of failure that goes along with it, because that creates rising stakes and makes the tension stronger so that the reader is more invested in the story. And yes, you'll get to a point in the book like 2/3 through where you're like, I have no idea how to solve this, but you'll be able to. I guarantee it. You'll go back, you'll read the book, you'll see all these little clues that your subconscious dropped, and you'll be able to solve it. So definitely try to end your scenes with failure if you aren't already. Okay, so let's do 10 minutes this time since I've been talking a lot today. Apparently, it was all the sugar getting to me here. I also had a big cup of chai just before this, so all of that was a bad thing. All right, so 10 minutes this time. Have fun writing. There we go. Another 10 minutes, you guys. I hope you had some great writing. I got to start another scene with the character that I had created last week. The one that I realized I needed a secondary plot in this book. And I think they're going to be in different time periods, but the reader won't know that until closer to the end of the book. That's my plan anyway. And sometimes that's really difficult to do because you're trying to escalate two plots at one time, make them interweave, and then also somehow figure a way to bring it all together with the present day plot. And so I've got my work cut out for me. And I really definitely need to dedicate more time to this book, you know, in my spare time between recording, editing, and everything else. It's just a lot. And great, Silverali. I'm glad you got that good edit there. And half a mo, 207 more words. You guys are rocking it. You're doing really great. I'm so excited to see everybody doing so well. And I appreciate you guys joining me too, especially half a mo. I know it's nighttime there where you are. And I'm appreciative of everybody that's here. So did anybody have like a sentence they wanted to submit for me to rewrite? I know that that kind of went weird last week because it was really hard. It was actually harder than I thought it would be to do that on the fly. I think next time I'm going to have to like do that in advance and have them ready to go. I do have a video on Show Not Tell that I haven't released yet, just like a short video, the 60-second ones. And I've just got to finish tweaking it a little bit and then I can put that out. And great job, Shirley, with 315 words. That's awesome. I'm so excited for you. And then the Waterloo research. And Robert, another 204 words. That's fantastic. You guys are just rocking it. If you added up all the words that we all wrote in this, there would be like thousands, right? Like that's really, really cool. Imagine that, like all these people all over the place and we're writing hundreds of words at the same time and we're creating these books all at the same time. That's kind of cool if you think about it. I'm totally excited about that. Small things, you know, it gets me really psyched. So this week I'm not going to go over because we don't have any sentences to revise or any other, I don't think I have any other questions here. So we're probably going to end this at an hour so that everybody, me, can get dinner. Because food, you know, I'm very motivated by food, anybody who knows me. And yes, Cheryl, it's the little things that keep us going. And you guys really do a lot for keeping me going. I cannot tell you how much I look forward to these sprints every week. Thank you, Heather. Thanks for being here. I really, really do. I love spending this time with you guys. I love answering your questions. I get really excited about it. And I get so excited to work on my own book. Because a lot of times you feel like you're just writing into the void and nobody's listening and nobody's caring. But then when you come to something like this, it's like, hey, I have a whole bunch of people that are doing it along with me. So I hope you guys all have a fantastic weekend. And I encourage you to check out the new video on the channel and the masterclass if you haven't had a chance yet, which is an hour long. And it was a whole debacle with the power going out at my house and everything, but I soldiered on anyway. And let me know if there's a topic that you want to see. Drop a comment anywhere at all, and I'm happy to run that. And yes, Half a Mo, nobody's more excited than me about the counts going up. It's so exciting to me to see other writers learning, and when somebody says, oh, this was just what I needed, it makes me so happy because I'm trying to save you guys all the effort it took me to sell my first book, all that learning curve that took me years and years to go through. And thank you, Jean. Thanks for the and yes, Shirley, yes, remember to hit like to help the algorithm, because when you guys like it, then YouTube knows, okay, so we should show this to more writers. Yes, absolutely. I forget to say that all the time. And I agree, Silver Ollie, it helps me focus too. So you guys have a great weekend, and I'm looking forward to seeing you next week, and have a happy writing week.